There's a version of you that had to die before the real one could live. A man you had to bury just to breathe again. In this episode, it's about that man and the trail it took to become someone different. Not perfect, not polished, but embodied. And today I'm sitting down with someone who's lived this absolutely fully through addiction, rock bottom, and resurrection. And this is the first episode of the Trail to Transcendence guest series. And we're kicking it off with a truth that hits deep. Today's guest is Michael Morelli, best-selling author, former top 50 fittest man in the world, and the founder of FitScript, a cutting-edge performance and longevity company helping high-performing men optimize their biology using real data and not guesswork. He's helped Olympians, pro athletes, and thousands of men in their 30s and 40s reclaim their energy, rebuild their testosterone, and get shredded without the mainstream bullshit. Michael's also a former addict who rebuilt his life from rock bottom, and now he leads a movement challenging the sick care system, fighting back against weak culture, and proving that aging is optional. Buckle up. This is going to be a raw, powerful conversation. No excuses. Here we go. And this episode isn't about what he just built, it's about who he had to burn down to become the man he is today. Michael, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much, Justin. It is a pleasure to be here. As I mentioned pre-call, this is the first podcast episode that I've done in over 7 years, and I have done a tremendous amount of podcasts in my day. But this is the first in 7 years. I'm happy to be here, excited and grateful. So thank you for having me on.
Dude, I mean, I feel honored, man. 7 years, that's a long time. And seriously, I really do appreciate you carving the space for this. I know you got a million things you're juggling, your dad, and this means a lot for you to make the time because you are the epitome. And I was telling you before we hit record here, like it's uncanny how much your story, in some sense, echoes how this podcast came to fruition, how it started, and really, not to bring it on myself, but the journey that I went down and how I was a once in the fitness space, very involved in the fitness space fully, but had like an ego death, we could say metaphorically, for the lack of a better term, and realized that I was destined for something greater. And I really feel like you couldn't be a better fit for many men out there that are suffering silently. And I love how what you just shared, even in your bio, man. It's just like we live in a day and age today where so many people are just controlled by the media. So many men are at the mercy of their phone or some addiction, or whether it be pornography, whether it be vices like substances, whether it be just simply their attention. They're addicted to distraction and numbing out in some shape or form. And so to have you on here and just share your truth and what you've created to this day, a multi-million dollar brand, man. I mean, your father, where you were at rock bottom to where you are now. It's a hell of a story. And I'm just curious, for a lot of people that see you for who you are now, where you are with health, fatherhood, in the fire, just grinding out nonstop. Some may not know your backstory. Some may not know where you came from before. And I know you shared an incredible post on Instagram a few weeks ago, I saw. But if you can take us back to really the man you had to bury before where you got to where you are today.
Yeah. Before I answer that question, I just want to commend you on the work that you're doing. This podcast is extremely needed. Addiction is a real thing. It's crippling men, women, kids, but specifically talking about men, men need strong men. And men also need a place to go where they can get help. Masculinity, which is something that I talk about a lot, is very, very important, but it's also important to know as a man that you can ask for help. And so the work that you're doing is awesome. And to answer your question, who did I have to bury? I think at the end of the day, we all have to bury the liar, right? We have to bury the liar. I was a man that chased dopamine over discipline.
Mm.
I was really good all the way through high school. No drinking, no drugs. And then ecstasy hit the scene.
Mm.
And I started using ecstasy around 19 years old, and I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
I lived in Florida, underground rave parties, amazing, like amazing. And so I really didn't know that I was an addict, although my father was addicted to gambling. So I knew, that there was some tendency there, but I didn't know that I was an addict until I fell in love with ecstasy. Ecstasy was the gateway for me, and ecstasy then led to, you name it, short of smoking crack and shooting heroin. I became very, very addicted to opioids,
Mm.
um, cocaine, obviously alcohol, but essentially, right, I chased dopamine over discipline.
Mm.
And that sort of drug addiction led me into the nightclub scene, where
Mhm.
in Wisconsin, in my mid 20s, I managed all the top nightclubs. There was 4 nightclubs on one street. I started as a busser, and in 6 months, I was managing all 4 of literally the top nightclubs in Milwaukee. So I was the man. So I was running after parties. I was the go-to guy. And so what I was doing and what I realized I was doing is I was masking the pain with cocaine, porn, relationships. And I was more committed to escaping life than actually building one. And
Mm.
so to close the loop here, I had to bury the liar. I had to bury the guy who was scared, but who was ultimately lying to not only himself, but everyone around him.
Had to bury the liar, and I love how you put that, chasing dopamine over discipline, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's such a, and it couldn't be more for, I mean, it's so accurate to how today's day and age is there's so many distractions. And so going back to where you were, when was this time when you were 19, with the ecstasy?
So I graduated high school in 2000. I'll be 44 in November. So think just 2001, 2002. It was
Okay.
ecstasy and only ecstasy for, for a few years there. And then that led into those other drugs. I moved from Florida back to Wisconsin. So my mom came down, God bless her, and literally saved me. So she had heard that I was using, and at the time, it was a few years after I had started using ecstasy where I really got deep into opioids. So I was, snorting morphine and oxycodone. And so I remember she came down to Florida. She flew down from Wisconsin. She was living in Wisconsin. She came down, and I was staying in an apartment with a girlfriend, and she literally was banging on the door. And I remember her coming in. Of course, we didn't know that she was coming down. I remember coming in, and I was so high. I was literally, at the time she came in, I was throwing up in the sink because I was so high. And she said, "That's it. You're coming with me." And she then brought me up to Wisconsin in efforts to save me and keep me sober.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't long before I found a source in Wisconsin. Now this was pre nightclubs, pre that. And so, I started using again behind her back, although I wouldn't let her know. But it went on from, the drug addiction went on from, 19, 20 years old all the way until I was about 30, 31 years old. For the better part of a decade, I was high more than I was sober.
Okay. Okay. And ecstasy was the gateway. How long was when she caught you, just as you alluded to right there? and you were using, were you alluding to, if I'm getting this correctly, was that the opiate stuff related then, or is that a mixture of everything?
Mixture of everything.
Okay.
Yeah, your body gets used to these things, right? And
Yeah.
you have to use more. And my thought was, well, instead of using more, I'll just go from one to the next and to the other, right? I'll just go from cocaine to opioids to ecstasy to marijuana, and and even ketamine.
Yeah.
There were some times where I was in some deep K holes. Um,
Yeah. That shit's no joke.
Oh my gosh. Uh, but yeah, I mean, like I would just rotate because
Yeah.
then I wouldn't have to use so much of it. It would just be like, oh gosh, that's another that's a different feeling. Oh gosh, okay, awesome. Well, now that's it, right? And so you would just kind of go through these, three or four favorites and experience these different highs, these different feelings.
Yes. Yes. Almost like a vice cycling. And it's like, that, and they have that own unique, we could say, experience with each one. Yeah, like you alluded to right there. So essentially, the overarching theme behind this though was the escapism, uh,
Yes. Yep.
and escaping from that particular, excuse me, that particular, the man that had to bury the liar, as you alluded to. And I can definitely, to some degree relate to your story with MDMA as well, and also ketamine, and also opiate with the kratom. Now I just heard that was labeled like gas station heroin, apparently, which is crazy. But going back to how you shifted from 19 to 31. I mean, you had most of your 20s, all your 20s rather, and part of really early on in your 30s, there was some shift that said that, Michael, you gotta wake the fuck up, or something's you're not gonna make it. I mean, what was, if you can tell me in terms of, I know your mom was banging on the door, you had alluded to there, but what was like the moment, what was the turning point that allowed you to finally break free of this dopamine over discipline?
Well, I hit rock bottom, and it was either death,
Mm-hmm.
or rise. I'm watching my friends, five of which now have died of overdoses since I left the group.
Oh,
But it was a combination of things. It was rock bottom, and I found out that I was going to be a dad. So during this time, I'm going bankrupt. So I had a wildly successful business called Television Frenzies. We were doing 5 million a year. I had 33 employees. The cocaine addiction got so bad that not only now was I using it at night with alcohol at the nightclubs, but I would also use it during the day at the office. So it seeped into, right, like literally during the day, I'm doing, bumps of cocaine in my office.
yeah.
So I lose my business. Um, so I'm filing bankruptcy. I've got $1,000 to my name. My marriage. So I was going through a divorce.
Mm,
I and the reason was me, right? So I was having an affair on my wife with the woman I'm with now, who said, "Hey, dad, hey, Michael, you're going to be a dad." And of course, at the time, I'm like, "No, I'm not. There's no way," right? I'm like pushing that, and hadn't realized, right? Like this is the best thing that could ever happen to me. So I found out I was going to be a dad, and I remember vividly carrying 2 bags of groceries up 2 flights of stairs. I got to the top of that staircase, winded and out of breath. Everything had collapsed around me. And I said to myself in that moment, I said, something's got to change. I cannot be a deadbeat dad. And so it was through that defining moment where I brought faith in, I brought fitness in, and I was able to truly bury the liar and the man who is escaping life as opposed to building it.
wow. So you never were in fitness prior to that, like never worked out really before.
I was the guy that would be good for a week or two
Mm-hmm.
and then fall off. Mind you, my diet, people see how I eat now, right? I am like real whole foods from as close to nature as possible. I'm the guy that's no artificial flavors, no dyes. I'm getting meat from the farm.
Yes.
We're extremely cautious. I mean, I care about the pots and pans that I use, the water that I
Yeah.
drink, like the skincare that I put on my body. Like I am
Yeah.
obsessed with anything that I put in and around my body. At the time, you're talking about binging, having, tons of Coke, getting to a point where I couldn't fall asleep to find like the last bottle of alcohol, no matter what it was. It could have been whiskey, it could have been bourbon, it could have been vodka, top of the refrigerator. I'm grabbing it and I am just downing as much as I possibly can so that I could literally fall asleep. Then I wake up, half half the day is gone, and I'm going and I'm running to either Wendy's, Taco Bell, or McDonald's.
Yes.
And this went on for the better part of a decade.
Wow.
So to close the loop and answer your question, yeah, I would go to the gym every once in a while and I would do my bench press and, the bro exercises. And I would have a protein shake and have a few different supplements, but never committed and never longer than, 7 to 10 days in any given time because as soon as the weekend rolled around, alcohol and cocaine would find me.
So you're catching up by the end of the week. Or by Monday, it was like Suicide Tuesdays, and I know the term's a little extremist, but you probably felt really like shit at the end of the starting the week off, right?
Absolute like death, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like death. And I remember, I just remember hiding, right? I remember hiding. I remember hiding from my mom. I remember hiding from my therapist. There was a time that I was on 3 different medications. So as I'm going through this
Wow.
life, this crazy life, my therapist had me on Wellbutrin for depression,
Oh my gosh.
Adderall for ADHD, and fluoxetine for anxiety.
Phew.
So think about that, all of those drugs, all of that alcohol, and then these prescription drugs, which I'm very against. I think you can use them in certain circumstances, but there needs to be a path off of them.
Yes.
And knowing what I know now, I would have never taken them. I think there's a lot of different things and peptides and lots of tools that we can use to circumvent that altogether. But yeah, I mean, you think about all of the shit and chemicals and crazy nasty toxins that I was
Mm.
loading my body with over the better part of a decade.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, gosh, even when you had said that with the what Wellbutrin, that in conjunction with like let's say ecstasy, that can cause like serotonin syndrome. I know, I've heard. And gosh, I mean, Adderall and cocaine are almost identical in their chemical structures. Essentially, it's just putting fuel back on the fire in a sense, that your therapist had you. And not to blow at the therapist, but I'm just saying that that for any guy looking outward, I can't imagine hearing this conversation right now, like if they're experiencing that, how difficult that is. And to break free of that, it requires probably a tremendous amount of radical fucking honesty with yourself where you are and confronting the truth, seeing the guy in the mirror in your sense, walking up the stairs, being out of breath with those bags, and realizing something's got to change or you're not going to make it. And so you got to this stage of life where you were having the affair and you were going through a divorce and also you were going bankrupt and you finally realized I got to change. And I want to know when you were at this stage, how so 31 was when this all happened, right? When you had to, okay, and you're 44 now. When did things really start to gain traction? Like when did things really start to gain traction? There was like an ascendance upward.
Yeah, so I moved back in with my mom at 31 years old. Not the most proud moment of my life at 31, my daughter, who was born shortly after, and Amanda, we lived with my mom. I actually lived downstairs in her basement. And I remember trading drugs for dumbbells. So once we're an addict, I feel like we're always an addict. I don't know that I could never not be addicted to something. So for me, I traded drugs for dumbbells.
Mm.
I traded an unhealthy addiction for a healthy addiction. And I kept it really, really simple. So paleo always became or always was logical, like a logical way to eat.
Mhm.
And so I just shifted from processed foods. Now, mind you, it wasn't like 100% from the left side of the spectrum to the right. You know, I still had my hot pockets and my oven baked pizzas and some fruity pebbles. But I slowly started gravitating over to whole foods from as close to nature as possible. And I started doing high intensity interval exercises in my mom's basement. The videos are still on my YouTube channel to this day. If you go back May 2013, my first YouTube video is there. The workout is there. And so I was stringing together exercises. I didn't really know much about anything. This was before all my certifications. And in 113 days, I went from 25% body fat down to 8.
Wow.
People started noticing. I remember getting comments at the local coffee shop, wow, what are you doing? And that felt really good. My confidence was through the roof. And I saw my abs for the first time in my life. And I think it was that momentum and that shift that was like, oh my gosh, like if I can do this, I can teach other people how to do it too. This was before I knew that you could sell anything online or that
Yeah.
people would like buy programs. But this was the big shift for me. And then I got a CrossFit membership and I met a guy named Ian. Ian became and is still one of my best friends, and I credit him to this day for a lot of what I have because he pushed me to create an online workout program. So I took all of this knowledge, this experience, I put it into Fast Start Fat Loss, which was a fat loss program PDF.
Mm.
And for
Yeah.
12 months, all I did was give it out on Instagram. So mind you, now I'm sharing my entire journey, raw, real, authentic. I've overcome drugs. I'm training. I'm building my body. I have a crazy transformation. And now people are watching. For months and months and months, no one was watching, no one was clicking, no one was liking,
Yeah.
no one was engaging. And then finally, people latched on. And I slowly started to build this audience as I'm sharing raw, real, and transparent. So over the first 6 months, I get 6 certifications. I submerge myself. So I'm that guy, right? I'm all in. I was all in with drugs,
Yeah.
and now I'm all in with fitness. So I thought to myself, okay, cool. I have a transformation. I have an experience. Great. Now I've got to get credible so that people will take me serious. And so I get 6 certifications, the basic certifications, right? ISSA. I
Hmm.
get a CrossFit certification. So now I'm in Chicago. I'm getting a CrossFit certification in L1. I get a Russian kettlebell certification, neurolinguistic programming, and I'm documenting this entire process and this entire experience online. So people are like engaged now. They're like, "Oh my gosh, okay, cool. Like this is legit. This is awesome." So now I'm giving away fast start fat loss. I'll never forget. In over
Yeah.
12 months, I'm growing my following, and I put 150,000 people on an email list.
Cool.
Had nothing to sell, just value, just giving it. Well, a handful of months later, I take all of sort of these exercises that I was doing, these high intensity exercises, right? The burpees and the renegade rows and the bird dogs and right, like, and I would string them together. And so I created a program called HITTMAX.
Dude.
You remember it?
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So HITTMAX is born, and immediately out of the gate, it goes bonkers, crazy. And I believe that I was one of the very first on Instagram to create a PDF workout program.
Yeah.
We sold 250,000 copies in like 20 months. I go from bankrupt and having $0 in the bank to literally seeing $4.5 million in my bank account.
What the? Whew.
Mind is blown. Now I'm traveling and I'm doing live workouts in Santa Monica. 200 people would fly in from all over the world. I'm coming down the elevator and I'm doing a live workout, motivating people. I do a book launch, a book tour for Sweet Potato Diet. People are meeting me in Times Square. They're meeting me in LA. I'm all over the news. Like, unfathomable, right? Like, so if I take you back to the decision to trade drugs for dumbbells, I had no clue that this was what was coming.
Yeah.
And so I'm so passionate about fitness as the vehicle that we could all get into to create major and massive change because of what it's done for me. Like, I literally got disciplined, took care of my body, took care of my mind, my soul, and myself. And opportunity and doors have opened in a way that I never thought possible.
Dude, I love how organic that everything just unfolded like that for you. And to revert back to you were 31, everything was just in most cases, many people and I really want to be careful how I say this, but many people would have given up on life. I think you are the exact fucking epitome of that is turning pain into your purpose, man. Like you alchemized your fucking adversity into something so incredible. And the reason I say that is because this is where it gets crazy. When you said hit max, I used to teach grit, Les Mills.
Yep.
I had women that would come in and they would talk about your fucking program, how much they
That's
liked
so
it.
awesome.
And I'm dead serious, dude. This was 2014. You might have.
Yes, exactly. 2014, exactly. 2014, 2015, it was HITTMAX that went into customized custom meal program. Well, custom meal plans. We were the first to do custom meal plans on Instagram. We had
Yeah.
15 nutritionists. We were doing it for people all over the world. It was nuts. But back to HITMAX, yes, it was that year.
Yeah, I was like the you Paige Hathaway and it
Yeah.
was like Devin Physique and like
Yes.
one other person. I
Joey
think
Swole, Kayla
Joey
Itziens. It
Swoll.
was just before Kayla Itziens went crazy with sweat.
Yeah, yes, yeah. And then I think it was who was the other? It was like Jen Seltzer, I think. They were like, you guys were like the top. Like I
Yeah.
remember on Instagram. And no, but you're what's so crazy is that Hit Max program. I had women that literally left the class and they're like, yo, look, this workout's amazing, but Mike's is like next level. Like they were saying. So, and it gets weirder because 2 years after that, I go on vacation in Florida with my parents at the time, my wife now, but she was my girlfriend back then, and we're just at a tiki bar in Marco Island, Florida. I'm sure you probably know it's a little more south of where you are, and some girls just like I'm telling her what I do for a living. I'm like a fitness coach, and she's like, "Oh, she's like, I bought this program, Hit Max. It's awesome." She's a bartender there, and she's like telling me, and I'm like, "Yo, connecting the dots, like." Dude, this he's figured something out here, like with this program. So I had two people talk to me about it. And I'm sure there's been other times, but those are the two I could really recall from. But I'll never forget, man. And I was like, what is Mike doing that's so unique about this? And I think what really overarching what stems from this is it's authentic, man. It's like this is your fucking passion. Like you alchemize your pain into your purpose, and people can fucking feel that from a subconscious level. And I just love that, I hear in your voice, I feel it in your content, like it's so real. And it's incredible how now it's evolved. If you can take me down the trail of like when you made that $4 million and it was in your bank and you were almost on the verge of what you did file chapter.
I filed chapter 7 bankruptcy. So yeah, I had to get out from tons of debt. So I personally signed guaranteed mall leases. So my previous business was Television Frenzies
Hmm.
that I grew to $5 million a year. It was a retail business, and one store in Mayfair Mall led to 7 stores in a matter of a couple of years. But every single one of these leases, you had to personally guarantee. Well,
Mm.
the time came where the trend and Television Frenzies and the SE on TV merchandise sort of wore off, right? They started carrying it at all the, you know, grocery stores and Walgreens and Walmart and Kmart and the gas stations. And it became less fun to come to my store and try on your Snuggie and play around with the slap chop. So I had to file, like I had literally, when I say $1,000, like I had nothing. It
Mm.
was, it was, it was rock bottom. And yeah, so Chapter 7 bankruptcy, not fun, but for anybody that is going through it, it's not the end of the world. It's
Mm.
really, really not, you know. It sucks. It's hard, but it's not the end of the world. It's not as scary as I thought it was going to be while going through it.
Yeah, yeah. It's you know it's crazy to say it because I feel like we, as a society, language is associates such meaning. And I know you say you neurolinguistic programming, NLP, like we associate so much meaning to words. And I love how you've you're a walking proof of that. It's not that scary. Like look what you've created, and it's like I don't mean to go on a tangent here, but I love how at the time it probably seemed scary as fuck, but you got through it and you have it. I'm sure it built grit in you. It made you, that much stronger, and it made you that much of a better communicator, a better husband, a better father, everything all together. It probably made you Mike 2.0 or Mike 2.0 or more, you
Yep.
know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, your past does not have to define you, right? Like it's we go through life and we have these experiences and it's important to evolve and grow in consciousness,
mm,
right? That's the key. You know, the man I am today was forged in pain, but rebuilt through fitness, discipline, and purpose. And as a result of that pain, of that transformation, I've been able to change millions of lives through content and many, many, many multiple health brands over the last decade. And as you know, most recently, FitScript, which is
that,
a new baby, has been born from that fire and something that I'm extremely passionate about. I don't know, more passionate is probably not, you don't know what you don't know.
mm,
So I want to catch myself there because, man, HITTMAX and the custom meal plans and the supplement companies, I had just as much passion at the time for those as I do now with FitScript. FitScript is it's just different. And huh, how do I say this? It's based on data, right? Based on data,
yeah,
not emotions. We're no longer guessing about what's best for us, what workout is best for us, what foods are best for us, what supplements to take. It's all based around extensive data and biomarker testing.
yeah. Well, if you don't mind, if I stop you right there, what I love though that you have demonstrated really well within your life is you're resourceful and you adapt. Whether that's with your current situation or as a worldview, as a society, you and I think we can both agree, and many of the listeners, the world has fucking massively changed in the last 5 years.
Massive. Yeah.
The Great Reset, we could go down the rabbit hole of this, but to keep it, brief, is there's been an awakening for some that have decided to use discernment. And in the last, let's say, 5 years, 2020, I think we can all agree that there's been an awakening, and there's thankfully been a lot more light that has shined on a lot of corruption. And what I love is that, again, you're leading with your heart. You're trying to help with this brand. I think the biomarker stuff is incredibly important because there's so much corruption in big pharma. There's so much corruption in the food system, like just with all the crap that's in food. And I actually did. I got gifted, and correct me if I'm wrong. Is FitScript similar to like Function, something like that? Some
In terms of the biomarker piece, yes, we are way more high touch.
nice.
So not only are we going to measure 124 biomarkers and give you 80 pages of data, you're then going to get on with a functional medicine practitioner. You're then going to get on with a hormone doctor. You're then going to get all your nutrition, all your training, and all of your supplements based on that. And then, right, you're coached, right? You get a
Yes.
coach. with you for 12 months. You're in a community of over 500 men. And as we alluded to in the beginning, right? Like men need strong men. They need a community of like-minded men. And so I think the most powerful piece of what we do actually isn't the biomarkers and the functional medicine doctors and the hormone doctors. It's actually the community of men where you've got guys that are repairing relationships and rekindling marriages. You've got guys who are talking about their kids and how their kids now are looking up to them finally and respect them as men who are now eating like they should, real whole foods from as close to nature as possible. You've just got some vulnerability and some transparency in these on these calls, and I lead the Monday night call where it just doesn't happen in the real world, you
Yeah.
know? And so we're able to make massive changes with old programming and old belief systems that
Yes.
are really the true reason why men are held back, right? Like, you know that you need to choose the potato over the potato chips, right?
Hmm.
You know innately, you know what you need to do. You need to go to bed at a good hour. You need to get 8 quality hours of sleep. You know that you need to drink water. You innately know, right, that you need to move today. Like, but
Yeah.
you're not conscious about it. And your beliefs, habits, and sort of daily rituals and patterns are what's holding you back. And so as soon as you shatter a guy's belief system and you bring them back and say, well, this is why you believe this, this is how you've been programmed, you get to really learn more about them and help them unravel old habits, put in new habits, and then FitScript is the lifestyle, right? It's the vehicle, but it's the lifestyle that these men are now have adapted to, you know, and 73% of the men who come in stay with us year after year.
Wow. Wow. So I love how well you articulated that, man. Like very descriptive in terms of the it's almost like if we look at a computer, like you're deleting, or we'll say, for the lack of a better term, uh you're undownloading, I guess that's uninstalling is the right word.
I love it.
Uninstalling the software, the app that
You're
no
running
longer.
Microsoft DOS, right? These guys are running DOS.
Yes.
This
Yes.
isn't, we don't live in a Microsoft DOS anymore. It's time to upgrade, right?
Yes. Yes, yes. So you're upgrading the software, and you just people are living in an outdated program that, it's like the AIM days. People used to use AIM, to chat. Now it's, we use our fucking phone or whatever it is, Zoom, however we're connecting. It's not the best example, but my point is that I love the angle of how you just approach that is really is where so many people are at the mercy of their old belief systems. And I think I heard the other day, it's 95% of up until I think 35, you're running on autopilot. It's your subconscious. And you know what to do, you just don't do what you know. And it's incredible that you guys are utilizing that. Like you're approaching with the psychology part with FitScript. So if you don't mind, walk me a little bit more through like the process. I'm just curious, like for the listeners too.
Yeah. Yeah. So essentially, you would get on a health strategy call with one of our strategists. We would learn more about you, understand where you're at today and where you want to go. So a handful of things happen, right? So number one, we're going to find any declining health trends and help you reverse them. So prevention is a huge part of what we do. In fact, we've caught fatty liver disease in 35-year-olds. 3 days ago, 41-year-old guy, literally like on the verge of some really nasty cardiovascular disease, sent him to the hospital to get
Wow.
to get checked because the markers were that bad. So prevention, performance, right? Energy, metabolism, sleep optimization, and then aesthetics. Because when you look good, you feel good. I know just from having that physical transformation, confidence just soars. It goes through the roof. As soon as a man looks good, is shredded, or is losing weight and is starting to see his muscles develop, He looks in the mirror, becomes unrecognizable, confidence soar. His wife is looking at him like never before. His kids are now looking up to him. These
Mm.
are very, very important things. So you get on a call with a health strategist. We go over our process, run you through our labs, 80 pages. So Function Health isn't 80 pages. I think Function Health is doing a very good job for the price point. But what we found is that when someone just learns what's wrong and not how to fix it, it creates more worry and more frustration and more anxiety. And it's almost like, well, if you're just going to tell me what's wrong, I'd rather not know. But if you're going to tell me what's wrong and then you're going to give me the blueprint, the fit script to fix it, okay, cool. Now I'm going to lean in. So we order your labs. There's over 10,000 locations in the US. We serve New Zealand, we serve the UK, we serve Australia, and we serve the US. A few other countries are coming online, but we'll find a local labs. We're going to make that appointment. We're going to schedule it for you. We're going to give you a requisition form. You go down and you get your blood drawn. 2 to 3 weeks, that information comes back to our world-class functional medicine team, over 50 years experience of curing cancers and autoimmune disorders and Lyme disease and cardiovascular disease. They are second to none. In fact, they've been looking after me and my health and my family's health. Gave my mom an extra 15 years on her life when the doctor couldn't figure out what was going on with her. And so I've cultivated a world-class team. You get on with them, you understand exactly what's going on. You go through all of the data, your labs, the 80 pages, so that you have a vast understanding, more depth about you and what's going on inside than you've ever had in your life. You see a hormone doctor to specifically go over your hormones, to develop a hormone strategy. Then we're designing your nutrition. So these are the most optimal foods based on some very specific markers, primarily inflammation, lipids, and some hormonal markers. And then training. A lot of people, Austin, are overtraining and they don't even know it. Inflammation is through the roof, cortisol is through the roof, stress is through the roof. They think I got to train my way out of this, when the truth is that they've got to eat whole, real foods. They've got to supplement for their deficiencies. They've got to lay off a little bit, take a few steps back, let their body recover, drive inflammation down, and then start again. And then the big piece is supplementing based on biomarker data and actual deficiencies. So everybody is going to GNC or their favorite supplement shop or listening to their favorite influencer and saying, hey, I'm going to take that because he told me to, or my mom
Yeah.
said that this worked for her. Well, the truth is that you don't know what supplements that you're deficient in and what you actually need to take. So we're going to tell you exactly what to take, how much, and the timing based on the deficiencies that we see. And a key
Wow.
point for the listeners is the longer you're deficient in key vitamins and minerals, the more susceptible you are to disease. So just plugging your deficiencies, if nothing else, and you plug your deficiencies, you're going to have more energy, you're going to sleep better, your hormonal response is going to be better, inflammation is going to be driven down, and you are going to be way better off just by supplementing based on deficiencies. And then finally, we're putting you with a coach. You're in a community, 4 coaching sessions a week. You are guided, handheld, and your nutrition and training and things are adapted for you as you go over 12 months to ensure that we reverse the declining health trends, we help you perform at your best, and we move the needle on your aesthetic goals, help you look good and feel good.
I love how comprehensive that is, man. Like the fact that you're not just handed your blood work or your lab work, like you're actually guided through everything. It's so reassuring because there's I know there's a number of companies doing something like that, but they don't do all the extra that you're doing, what you guys are doing. And I love that it's like you feel like you're not just being supported, but you're a part of something bigger
Amen.
because
Yeah.
the brotherhood, that is, people will stay when they feel seen, when they feel heard, when they feel like they're being supported. And I think that's such a powerful thing that you have branched between the connection in the community with the data and the stuff that validates that, look, everyone's different. Everyone's unique in their own way. Your deficiency may be greater than your brother or sister, whatever, whomever it is, because your genetic code's different. And I just think that's what you're doing is huge, man. And I've never heard of anything like this. So this is really
We have
cool.
to get you. We have to. So we'll talk offline, and I'll do you. We'll do a fit script for you as well, so you can share with your community. It'll
Fuck yeah.
blow. It'll blow your mind. The data and obviously the brotherhood too. But I mean, all of the guys inside are going to hear this podcast. I'm going to make sure that they all hear it. But we'll get you sorted. We'll get a fit script sorted for you too, so that you can just see and experience. It had to be full stop for me. I've
Yeah.
done training programs, I've done custom meal plans, I've had supplement companies, right? But we need to really simplify things and give people a one hub, one place to go, as opposed to I'm doing my training over here and I don't know if that's right for me. I'm going to do my supplements. I'm going to take the green juice and the protein powder, but I don't really know if that's working. I'm going
Mhm.
to eat, I mean, name it. There's a new diet every damn week. Which one are you
Yeah.
choosing? Right?
Yeah.
And the influencer that you're following is going to make you believe that the diet he's selling you, whether it's through supplementation or his book or whatever it is, he's going to make you feel like that's the best diet for you. And the truth is it's not, because
Yeah.
you are individual and unique. Your lifestyle, genetics, epigenetics, all playing a role. That and the data and your biology is what you need to factor in and consider and use to make health decisions.
Yes, yes. I love how you just touched on epigenetics too, because now it's starting to gain more light on that with how you can alter your genetic code through lifestyle habits, essentially.
100%. Yep.
I mean, if there's one you were gonna say something, sorry.
Yeah, so a good quote is this, right? Genetics load the gun. Epigenetics pull the trigger.
Oh, damn. That is good, man. Wow. That is so true. And it's I know Joe Dispenza was talked about a little bit with this stuff. So essentially, like if you don't mind giving an example, like if we all know what genetics are, but like epigenetics for the listeners, if someone you pull the trigger, metaphorically speaking, what would that look like epigenetics? How could someone alter that? Like the guy that's 34 years old.
Yeah, he's sleeping like shit, right? Going to bed really, really late, extremely stressed out at work, not hydrated, not moving, not eating whole real foods, pounding sugar, pounding energy drinks, right? That's epigenetics. That's lifestyle.
Yeah.
Genetics is what we were born with. And some people will say, yeah, I'm just doomed, right? Cancer or fill in the blank runs in my family. And I'm like, hold up. No, no. What runs in your family is bad habits, bad rituals, bad choices, right? Like, I'm willing to bet that the disease, fill in the blank, that your mom or dad or grandfather, my dad actually just died of cancer.
Oh,
Um,
sorry, man.
yeah, a couple of weeks ago. He didn't want to listen to me, right? He just like I tried and he didn't want to listen to me. Nonetheless, right? Like just because my dad died of cancer or my grandma died of cancer doesn't mean that I'm over here saying, you know what? Like if it runs in my family, I'm doomed. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. If I look at their lifestyle, that's what led to the demise, right?
Yeah.
The sugar in the coffee and the sugar and like the abundance of sugar, right? Sugar is really the only enemy, in my opinion, when we're looking at dietary, sort of needs or sort of like the spectrum, right? So you've got the food pyramid, and you've got this, like it should just be sugar, right? Like
Yeah.
sugar is the enemy, and that's really the thing that we need to avoid. Everything else, whole foods from as close to nature as possible, like it's just so simple. It's so much more simple than people are making it out to be.
Yeah, it's like almost like the way I see it from a different angle, it's like people, the argument between predeterminism and free will choice. It's like our lives aren't predetermined. We have free fucking will. We can choose to discern if something, if we don't like something in our lives, we have the power to reclaim or pivot. We're not, it's not this victim mentality. We are victors at the end of the day. We have the ability to change if we allow ourselves
I
to.
love that. And you
And
said it right. It starts with the thought, right? It starts with how
yeah,
you think every single day. As soon as you start thinking, oh my gosh, cancer, cancer, like whenever I hear that word cancer, I say cancel. I'm
mm,
not subscribing to it. I'm
yeah,
not believing it. I don't want it in my mind. I don't want it in my body. Nothing. Keep it out. And just to circle back to the food pyramid comment, right? Like the food pyramid really should be Like it should be switched on its head, right? Like the grains and like the sugar and the shit that's at the bottom, right? Like you think about the American breakfast, it's it's a tragedy, right? It's like pancakes and waffles and juices and sugar and like that's the issue.
Yes, yes, yes. And so, you know, the fact that we both, see eye to eye with we have free will choice, and we can see that ultimately it's these things that whether we say it's the food industry or whatever it is that is projecting this like belief that we need to take this or we need to eat this, we need to eat this. We broke this programming. I want to know for you though, what, and sorry if damn cats out there.
That's all
So
right. That's all right. We're rolling. We got, I mean,
well,
you feel the energy. I'm on fire for this.
yeah,
Can you turn the AC on a little bit for me? I am on fire in here.
I don't know if you know the DJ Laid Back Luke. My cat's name is Luke, and I call him Unlaid Back Luke
Oh,
because
right on, right on.
he's crazy. But anyway, so essentially, where I was going with this is that there's a decision that needs to be made in order to change. Obviously, we both done that. For your reason to change, I wanted to actually pivot back now that you've created the evolution of your life over time, 31 years old to now 44. You started off with the hit stuff from rock bottom, chapter 7, 4 million fucking dollars. Crazy story, man. One of the top people in the beginning when Instagram took off for fitness 2014, and you've maintained that status, and if not grown, I mean you've grown. That's clear, evidently clear, and you've evolved now with this branding with FitScript, and then you became a father along the way earlier on. What was if you don't mind sharing a reason to change ultimately? Can you speak on how fatherhood is reshaped your identity as well?
Y- Yeah, I'm gonna try to do it without crying. Um, because that little angel that came into my life, who initially I pushed out, not when she was born, but when I heard that I was going to be a father, was like, no, and it wasn't because of her. It was because I couldn't even take care of myself at the time. But little did I know that she was just this angel sent from God to save me. Because had it not been for her, I truly don't know that I would be here. I
Wow.
truly don't know that I would be here standing on this podcast with you, have impacted so many lives, and have become the father that I always needed, that I never had. So yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing. I know you're having a girl. I wanted to have a boy first, and it ended up being a girl. And man, that relationship is the most special. We had a daddy-daughter date last night. I took her to this photo shoot, and then we ate. The daddy-daughter relationship is uncanny. But fatherhood, it gave me another sense of purpose. It gave me clarity. It gave me accountability. And I didn't want my daughter growing up with a soft man. I wanted her to see what real strength looked like: emotional, physical, spiritual. And she literally saved me from chasing selfish goals. So everything I do now, fitness, business, this mission, it's all legacy. And the one thing that I want to share with all the men and the dads out is every single day you get up, you have an opportunity to show your family and your kids what's possible.
Mm,
What you do, how you think, how you communicate, your discipline, how you take care of yourself, the foods you eat, the books that you read, all of it is showing up and showing your kids what's possible. And one thing that I always say to men is that you can be an example or you can be a warning.
mm.
Are you an example of what to follow, or are you a warning sign of what not to follow?
Oh, man, I love that. I really love that. And man, I appreciate you like sharing that because there's many guys that are probably in that have experienced or experiencing that are listening to this right now. And I can say that it's uncanny how paralleled the moment when I was in a dark time and I wasn't sure if life was going to continue on. I found out that I was going to be a father to my daughter who's soon to be here. And this was only 9 months ago. And I mean, your voice, you're now hearing this, the vulnerability, the authenticity, the love you have for your daughter. I mean, dude, it is so moving. It's how many lives you've changed. I'm really lost at words because this is so powerful. And this is like, this is I really appreciate you sharing this. And so many other guys listening can appreciate this and
Thank
will.
you.
And it's just a testament of what you just said right there is when you show up is and I'm gonna butcher, but I know you said you can be a warning or what was the other thing?
You
The
can be
first
an example or a warning.
example or warning.
An
And I mean
example or a warning. Yeah.
the testament you're an example, dude. Like you're fucking just showing up, being the best you can be every single day. And on this podcast, I like to, I know you've probably heard metaphorically breadcrumbs, life leaves breadcrumbs to some degree. I call it trail markers, is they're like a metaphorical way of seeing your identity shape shifting over time and that validating you're on the right path or you're on the path that you're aligned and called to within this lifetime. What are some of the 1 to 2 things if you have in mind like non-negotiables that make you the fucking example every day that anchor you into that example?
That's a great question. I think the first one is discomfort daily. There's a comfort crisis going on. It's
Mm,
really, really easy, right? You've got Netflix and you've got social media and you've got porn, and every time you open Instagram, there's a girl with her boobs hanging out, right? You've got drugs, you've got bars, you've got fantasy football, you've got sports. All of this is just a distraction, right? All of this is comfort. Now, I'm not saying don't have fun, but my fun is raising my standard every single day. My fun is getting 1% better every single day. My fun is getting more conscious. My fun is leading my kids by example. My fun is waking up and showing them what's possible. Because here's the thing, they're watching you. You need to be the superhero for your son and for your daughter. You break through, you achieve unthinkable, and now all of a sudden you've raised the bar, you've raised the ceiling for your kids, just like the guy who eventually ran a 4 minute mile. Nobody could run the four
mm,
minute mile, and all of a sudden he ran the 4 minute mile, and then everybody was running 4 minute miles. But there's no more important person in your kid's life than you to do that for them.
mm,
Do you want your kid to look out at the guy who's driving the Lamborghini and say, oh my gosh, wow, ooh, I wonder how he does that? Or do you want to be the guy that has done so good, has made such an impact, has changed so many lives, has served, and now you have the Lamborghini that you and your kid are getting out of?
mm,
So, discomfort daily, number one. Father first. Every decision I make, I ask, would they be proud of this version of me?
phew.
Would they be proud? And then I have two more. You said two, but I've got two more.
All right, let's hear it.
Always keep your fucking word,
Oh,
no matter what. No matter what. If you say it, you follow through and you do it. The promises that you make to yourself are just as important as the promises that you make to other people. I've got guys in my group. We just had a mastery session 2 Mondays ago. We're really good at keeping our promises to our wife and to our kids. but we fail to keep the promises that we make to ourselves, those silent ones, right? That say, you know what, I'm going to get up tomorrow and I'm going to give 100% and I'm going to move and I'm going to drink more water and I'm going to get to bed tonight on time and I'm going to put the booze down. We make those promises, but we fail to keep them. So keep your promises. And then one thing that I've learned recently as I've launched FitScript is data over emotions.
Mhm.
I never guess with my body anymore. I test
Oh,
my mind, my protocols. Feelings don't feelings don't dictate my actions. Truth does. So those are the four. You said two. Those are the four things that come to mind when I'm thinking about how I navigate my day. And I'll tell you, we have 3 rules in our house for the dads listening. Only 3. There's only 3. Give 100% in everything that you do. Be honest. Be honest. Do not lie. And Carmelo, he's in there. What's the third one? Give 100% in everything you do. Be honest. You know the third one, right? I can't remember it. Be honest. Give 100% in everything that you do. Why am I drawing a blank?
because you're being honest.
And never give up.
I love that. I love that. But I love that you were honest right there because you said you didn't know, and dude, that
Yeah,
was
he
you
actually
demonstrated.
yeah, he came in, he comes into the office and kind of listens and watches, but you never give up. You give 100% in everything that you do, and you're honest through and through.
Dude, in everything you just described prior to those 3 rules too, there's so much fucking conviction in your voice. Like you live it. You don't just talk it, you walk it. You fucking do it. And I'm not just saying that. I can feel it, man. I see it. Side note, the Urus is beautiful, by the way. I saw the you recently got that as you were telling that story about the Lambo, but you've created such a the transformation you've had of this last, we could say, you're 44, what is that? Is that 15 or 13 years? I think they're 13 years.
13, 12, going on 13 years, yeah.
That is everything now is a byproduct of you showing up with being that 1% better every fucking day, you know? And I feel fucking honored to be on this call with you just to see and have this conversation. Because I remember when I got in the fitness space, I was like, that dude's fucking killing it. 900 fucking whatever, how many thousand followers you had. It's like, he's fucking killing it. He knows something. And selfishly, to be on this call, to be talking to you today, I feel honored because maybe I followed some of the advice you put back then and just put it into practice and kept going no matter what, even if things weren't like sticking right then in terms of like I'm not seeing results. But eventually I got over the hump. And I love hearing your story because it's not all highlight reels. You're telling like you're showing the dark moments and you figured out a fucking way. You became resourceful. And again, you alchemized your pain into your purpose. And so I really do appreciate just everything you've shared here today, man. And I know we got to both head off here. I want to respect your time as well. But ending off here, I know we had talked about prior to hitting record today that you're maybe one day your daughter will listen to this, maybe not, but I'm sure she will. Is if she were to listen to this, let's just say one day, this conversation we just had and this gap of this sliver of hour we had, let's say that she hears this one day when she's older. Who do you hope she hears in your voice? Or excuse me, who is not the right? What do you hope she hears in your voice?
Yeah. Think for yourself. Be unapology unapologetically you and follow your dreams.
Mm.
I think those are the three things, right? It's because we're a lot of us are bending to society, right? A
Mm,
lot of us are conforming to what
yes.
society says we should be. And we're not even thinking for ourselves anymore. Our thoughts are not even our thoughts, right? We're inundated with social media and billboards and the news and our friends and school and teachers and right, like we are downloading the beliefs of
Yes.
everything else, and we forget to think for ourselves and be unapologetically us.
Yes.
You
Yes.
need to think for yourself, Karina and Carmelo.
Mm,
You need to decide what you want to do in this life, who you want to serve, and you need to just relentlessly go after it. Every single day, you need to relentlessly go after it, no matter what anyone tells you, because people are going to tell you that you're not good enough. People are going to tell you that you're not pretty enough. People are going to tell you that you're not smart enough. People are going to tell you that that idea is dumb and that that can't be done. And the truth is, when you have passion and you have a fire and you have discipline and determination and you think for yourself, anything is possible.
mm. I love that, man. And so thinking for yourself and let's say, and we may have already decided this right here, but let's say that you're on your last breath and
Mm.
this is like the last breath, you know, this is it. You've lived 100 plus years. Shit, you've lived farther than 100 years, man.
120 is the goal, minimum
100,
120. Yeah.
120. You've lived 120 Earth years, and you're on your last breath. I know the world will be much different then, but let's just say everything you've created in this gap of time, and all the things you've created, and all the things you will create, because you're going to keep evolving. What I want to say before that is there's a little caveat. All the things you've created now and all the things you will create have now been deleted. So they're no longer, there's no way of accessing them.
Ego's
Well,
gone, ego death. Everything is gone. It's stripped from you, like right, like death. Everything is stripped from you. Mm-hmm.
yes, every physical, we'll say, thing that you've created, all that stuff is gone. So like there's no tangible thing and in this physical reality, there's nothing left behind. But you're allowed to leave behind one truth. So one truth for your daughter or both your daughters, excuse me, and every man listening right now, and every man that will listen to this podcast. What is
God.
that one truth that you want them to remember?
That is such a tough question. You know, as you're going through that question, I thought about the one thing that I wished my dad said to me before he left. And that was simply, I'm proud of you. I am proud of you, the man you become, and the lives that you've changed. So I'm hung on that for the moment. But the one truth that I would want to leave with these men who are listening and my daughter and my son. Austin, I don't know. There's I feel like in the episode I'm trying to give you something, trying to give you something, something different, something new.
What I love though is that you're, dude, you have so much conviction and like, not to interject, but you are unapologetically you, and you you are just exactly what you said earlier. Honest. If you don't know, you tell the truth, and I appreciate that, man. And you could just say some basic thing and that's what I love. Is
I,
like,
I think I would hear, I think I would say something to the effect of, you don't wait until you feel ready. You decide and you rise.
oh,
The greatest men in the world, right? If you think about the greatest men in the world, right? In order to be great, you must do hard things even when you do not feel like it.
mm,
Because if you don't, you will be average, right? Average people only do things when they feel like it.
mm-hmm.
You are never going to be great if you are waiting to feel like it. You figure out what you want to do based on having experiences. Everyone asks me, how did you find your purpose? Well, I can tell you that I didn't find it on the couch watching the Super Bowl or binge watching Netflix or playing video games. It did not find me there, right? It found me through having multiple experiences. It found me through action. It found me through discipline. So you find and you latch on to that purpose, and taking pain and turning it into purpose is a beautiful thing, right? Guys, people can relate to the pain, and they love when someone has done something that perhaps either they don't think they can do right now or don't ever think is even possible. And I'll tell you this, back when I was on 3 different medications for depression and anxiety and ADHD, back when I was using cocaine and ecstasy and drinking 4 or 5 nights a week, eating fast food, deteriorating rapidly, where I'm at today wasn't even a fucking thought. It wasn't even, it wasn't a dream. It wasn't a thought. It was nowhere to be found. I did not even think that this life was possible. And then one step, one decision, one more discipline, 1% better led me over the last 12 years to be where I'm at today. The superhero for my kids, a transformational expert for millions of guys all over the world, a source of truth, fighting the attack on masculinity, fighting Western medicine, fighting big pharma, and just being there for men, someone to lean on, and someone to say, hey, it's okay. I fucking believe in you.
Fucking mic drop, man. That was fucking from the heart, man. I love that. I love that. I love that you took some time to really dig deep for what that was incredible. And I just want to say, man, like you are the epitome of, again, someone who has turned their pain into their purpose. And I love how you described, like, you don't just find your purpose through asking the question. It's through experiences. And
Yes.
those experiences aren't going to be pretty always. They're going to be fucking tough experiences. But again, dopamine is not the answer. It's discipline over dopamine. And I love that core theme today that you've defined, you've tipped the scale. It no longer is this addiction to dopamine. It's this, I don't want to say addiction, but it's this affinity towards discipline. And that overarching theme has created you into the best fucking business owner, best fucking man you can be, best fucking dad you can be. And man, I just love how unapologetically authentic you are and how much conviction you have in your mission and all the truth behind. You're not afraid to speak your truth. You're not a fucking afraid to speak your truth. I love that you share what you truly believe in. And I see that, man. I see that on social media. And it's a scary thing for many people to do that nowadays. But I just, I want to say thank you for the space you held today, and thank you for being you, man,
Yeah.
and a guiding light to many men that are suffering. You know, you've helped me, so and you,
Yeah, you are welcome. It feels good to be back As I've mentioned, this is the first podcast that I've done in 7 years. So perhaps a little rusty, but always authentic.
Yes.
And for the guys listening, you're going to be tested. We were meant to be tested. You think back 1,000 years ago, you were hunting for your family. You had spears and swords and shields, and we've just gotten comfortable and lazy. And it's perpetuated as like the norm. Like it's
Hmm.
okay. It's not fucking okay to be weak, feminine, and average. It's not okay to be those things. They're leading you to believe those things because weak men don't stand up for themselves or their family. They're pushed aside, they're pushed over. Man, it's okay, no big deal. It's a big fucking deal to be a man. It's a big deal to have a family. It's a big deal because you're the protector, you're the provider. You have to stand up, raise your standard so that your family and kids know what's possible. And it's going to be fucking hard as shit. And you're going to be tested. But if you get to the end of it and you've never been tested, you get to the end of it and you had this peachy ass, easy life. What stories are you going to tell? What are you going to say? I had this easy life. I was spoon fed. It was all just, no. The story, your story, you get to write it. When are you going to start?
Start today.
Yeah, man.
Bro, this has been real, man. This has been so good. And man, we'll have to maybe do another one in the future because this
We
is
will do another one in the future. I'll have Joy reach out. I'll have my assistant reach out. We'll get your fit script sorted too. We can firsthand show your followers through your experience, like what we do.
yes.
Love to bring you in to my community. I'd love to be more a part of what you got going on in your community. I think there's a great synergy. At the end of the day, this is about helping men, become more conscious, raise the standard, rise out of the ashes, and just become the absolute best version that they can be. You got a daughter on the way, so congrats on that. It's
Appreciate it.
everything changes when that baby comes out. Everything.
Yes, and I'm ready.
You're going to be an amazing dad too. I know it.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Well, I know it's gonna be a big pivot in life, but I'm ready for it. I know it won't be fully ready in terms of there's no textbook or itinerary or anything that can show you the way, but that's the whole theme of our episode, man. Like there never was for who the man you are today, and look what you've created, and it's beautiful. So I'm ready for it. Ready as I'm gonna be. But I appreciate it, man. Everything we've done, and one last thing I'll say: is there anything you want to share in terms of where people can find you, like anything like that?
Yeah, I'm Morelli Fit. A lot of people mistake that as more lift. So it's my last name, which is Morelli, Morelli, and then Fit, Fit. That's Instagram, that's X, that's YouTube, all the above. If you want to learn more about FitScript, super simple. It's fitscript.me. Um, I'm just here. I'm here. The guys come in and I'm present in their journey. So it's not you come in and you're with all of these other people and you don't feel my presence. My presence is felt through and through. It's the mission, the passion, the love is conveyed and communicated in all my staff. So you feel what I hope you felt today, you feel through and through as you come in. But more importantly than that, I'm inside the chats. I'm inside the community. I coach on Mondays. I'm seen, you're seen, and I know every single one of the clients, still over 500 by first and last name. And at some point, we're going to have retreats, which perhaps you can come to, Austin, but we're going to have retreats. We're going to bring the guys together, wellness retreats, a lot of really, really cool and very fun, important work coming down the pipe. So Morelli Fit across all the social media platforms. I hope to connect. I'm here to support and just be the best you can be every single day. It's you against you, man.
I love that, man. Well, Dude, I felt like your presence today. I know other people did definitely. When you were saying that, I was like, I felt it today. So, I'm sure the same thing goes that there's a congruency within that group as well. And, I'm honored to have you on here today, man, and just to have you as a guest to kick off this series. I mean, like I said, I really knew something felt like you were the fit, and I think this far exceeded. Not that I didn't think we would do well. Like, this was an incredible conversation. Your story so real, and 7 years of not podcasting. This is really good stuff, man. Like, so spot on. So
You asked some good questions. You're a great host. You asked really thought-provoking, great questions, and I think that's what happens when you have two people on that are extremely aligned in the work that they're doing. And I
mhm.
just want you to know too, Austin, I'm here for you as well, so I'll make sure Joy gives you my cell. So you have my
Cool.
cell number if you need anything. You're going to be a great dad. I have a 12-year-old and an 11-year-old. And so if there's things that you want to bounce off of me as, right, that little girl is growing up, I'm happy. I don't have it all figured out, but, I've got some amazing kids and they've got some amazing habits. And, it's been just a joy. Hard, hard,
Yeah,
very hard, but a joy to watch them grow up into the most amazing little human beings ever.
I bet, man. Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And it's been real. Lastly, this is the Trail to Transcendence. No map, no rules, just you facing yourself. I'll see you on the next trail marker.